Imagine waking up every morning, no matter how hectic life is, with a sense of calm, as if you're grounded in something deeper. What if you could face the storms of life, whether it's work stress, personal struggles, or the overwhelming uncertainty of the world, and still feel peace in your heart? Today, I'm going to share with you ancient wisdom from Buddhism, practical insights that can help you transform your life, find balance, and build a resilience that will carry you through even the toughest moments. You see, life has this uncanny ability to test us, throwing challenges, obstacles, and sometimes even heartbreak in our path. But what if I told you that the greatest power we have isn't in controlling everything that happens around us, but in how we choose to respond to what's happening within us? In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through profound Buddhist teachings, simple, yet powerful practices that can help you find lasting peace, purpose, and joy, no matter what life throws your way. So, if you're ready to discover how to create your own inner sanctuary amidst the chaos, stay with me until the end of this video. You'll learn tools that not only bring clarity and calm, but will shift the way you look at every challenge and opportunity in your life. This journey toward peace starts right here, right now. Let's begin. Principle 1. Listen more than you speak. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone has something to say, we often forget the transformative power of listening. The first principle from Buddhism is simple yet incredibly powerful: listen more than you speak. In a society where opinions flood every conversation and social media platforms, it's easy to get caught up in the need to always voice our own thoughts. But the wisdom here is clear: to truly understand is to forgive. Buddha's teachings weren't just about hearing the words that come out of someone's mouth, they were about connecting with the essence behind those words. Listening more than we speak isn't just a polite gesture, it's a way of cultivating true empathy. When we take the time to really hear someone, we open ourselves up to their perspective. We begin to see the world through their eyes, and that's where real wisdom begins. As the saying goes, we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. In other words, we should listen twice as much as we talk. When we do this, we not only gain deeper insight into others' feelings, thoughts, and experiences, but we also allow room for our own growth. I'll be honest, I've struggled with this myself. I'm sure we've all been in conversations where we're so eager to get our point across that we forget to fully listen. I recall a time when I was confiding in a close friend about a personal challenge I was facing. I had so much to say, my thoughts were scattered, my emotions all over the place, and I was desperately looking for advice or reassurance. But instead of offering solutions or jumping in with her own opinions, she simply listened. Her silence frustrated me at first. I thought, why isn't she helping me? Why isn't she giving me advice? But then, as the conversation went on, I began to realize something extraordinary. Her silence wasn't a lack of support, it was her way of truly hearing me. She wasn't just listening with her ears, she was listening with her heart. And in that moment, I learned one of the most profound lessons I've ever received: deep listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about connecting with the soul of another person. This lesson in listening reminds me of someone like Oprah Winfrey, who is widely regarded as one of the best interviewers of all time. Oprah's secret? She knows how to listen, really listen. It's not just about asking the right questions, but about creating a space where the other person feels heard and understood. Oprah's interviews often leave us with a sense of connection and wisdom, not because she dominates the conversation, but because she's able to listen with empathy and then respond with deep understanding. This is the power of listening. It's the kind of listening that can create lasting bonds, foster understanding, and bring peace. So next time you find yourself in a conversation, try stepping back for a moment and truly listen. Not just with your ears, but with your heart. Listen to understand, not to respond. You'll be amazed at how much more you'll learn and how much more at peace you'll feel. Principle 2. Don't let others control your life. The second principle of Buddhism is one that, for me, has been nothing short of liberating. Don't let the comments or attitudes of others control your life. Buddha's wisdom is straightforward. Don't dwell in the past, don't dream of the future, but focus on the present moment. This is easier said than done, especially when we live in a world where opinions are constantly being thrown at us from all directions. From social media to family gatherings, it's easy to get caught up in other people's expectations, judgments, and advice. But when we do that, we lose sight of what really matters, our own journey. Life is like an adventurous hike through a forest. Along the way, you'll come across people with different opinions and paths they think you should follow. They might tell you how to navigate, where to go, or even what direction to take. But the truth is, you hold the map to your own journey. You are the one who must decide which trail to follow, even if others try to convince you to take another route. Their path may work for them, but it might not be the right one for you. I know from personal experience how challenging it can be to ignore the expectations of others. There was a time in my life when I allowed the comments and attitudes of those around me to dictate my decisions. I constantly worried about what people thought, whether it was my career, my relationships, or my personal choices. I found myself seeking validation from others, trying to please them and conform to their ideas of success. It wasn't a bad thing to listen to advice, but when it became the driving force behind my decisions, I started feeling lost. I wasn't living authentically, I was living for others. Then, after a deep moment of self-reflection, I realized something crucial: this way of living was taking away my freedom. I was so focused on what others expected of me that I forgot to ask myself what I truly wanted. It was like I was walking down a path that wasn't even mine, following directions I never agreed with. I needed to stop caring about what others thought and start focusing on my own heart. So, one day, I made a choice. I decided to stop worrying about pleasing others and began focusing on what felt right for me. It wasn't easy. There was fear and uncertainty, and the pressure to conform didn't disappear overnight. But I felt this weight lift off my shoulders, a sense of liberation I hadn't felt before. I took a risk. I followed my own intuition, and I started pursuing work that truly resonated with me. It was difficult at first, but the peace I found in making my own decisions was worth every bit of uncertainty. This principle reminds me of someone like Steve Jobs, who, throughout his career, famously ignored the opinions of those around him to follow his own vision. When he was building Apple, many doubted his unconventional ideas, but he knew that true innovation and success come from following your own path regardless of what others think. Jobs didn't let others control his life, and that's one of the reasons why he was able to revolutionize the tech world. He embraced uncertainty and risk, trusting his own judgment instead of seeking approval from others. It's a powerful reminder that you're the one in charge of your life. You don't need to live according to anyone else's standards. Once you free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations, you can finally start walking your own path, and that's where true peace and fulfillment are found. Principle 3. Be ready to accept the worst. Buddha's teachings offer a profound yet challenging principle: be prepared to accept the worst. This isn't a call to pessimism but a strategy for resilience in the face of life's inevitable ups and downs. From everyday annoyances like traffic jams to profound losses such as the death of a loved one, challenges are a guarantee. The crucial insight here is that while pain is unavoidable, suffering is not. Suffering comes from our responses to pain, and it is within our power to shape those responses. Acceptance is often misunderstood as a form of surrender, but it is far from it. It's about acknowledging reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. This stance isn't about stopping our efforts or giving up our dreams, it's about confronting the facts head-on and dealing with them constructively. When we stop fighting reality, we conserve energy and focus it towards productive change. This principle came powerfully to life for me during a personal crisis when I unexpectedly lost my job. Initially, I was overwhelmed by shock and dismay, consumed by what it would mean for my future. But dwelling on my fears only deepened my suffering. Reflecting on Buddha's wisdom, I realized that while I couldn't control being laid off, I could control my reaction to it. By accepting the situation instead of resisting it, I found the emotional space to explore new opportunities. In this period of uncertainty, I allowed myself to fully experience my feelings: fear, sadness, and all without letting them define me. This emotional honesty was not a defeat but a liberation. It freed me to rebuild and to discover pathways I might never have considered otherwise. Gradually, I ventured into new professional arenas, which led to opportunities more aligned with my deepest interests and values than my previous job had been. The initial pain of my job loss was real, but the suffering staying stuck in a state of regret and fear was optional. My choice to rise above it, to move forward with acceptance and openness, transformed a painful event into a launchpad for personal growth and fulfillment. Celebrities like J.K. Rowling embody this principle beautifully. Before Rowling became one of the world's most beloved authors, she faced numerous rejections from publishers. Yet, she persevered, channeling her efforts into her passion for writing instead of succumbing to despair. Rowling's journey from a struggling single mother living on welfare to the creator of the Harry Potter franchise is a powerful testament to the strength that comes from accepting one's circumstances and persisting in the face of adversity. The path to true resilience is accepting the inevitable hardships of life without allowing them to overwhelm us. It involves recognizing that while we cannot control every aspect of our lives, we can always control our responses. By choosing to face our challenges with acceptance and courage, we can turn even the most daunting obstacles into opportunities for personal growth and greater happiness. This is the essence of living a life that is not only resilient but also deeply fulfilling. Principle 4. Don't be afraid of failing. Let's dive into a topic that many of us shy away from: failure. It's something we all fear, but in reality, failure is the only true way to progress. Buddha's wisdom teaches us that each day is a new beginning, and what matters most is what we choose to do today, not what happened yesterday. Every failure, every mistake, is simply a lesson in disguise. It's a stepping stone on the path to personal growth, success, and wisdom. Many of us spend a significant part of our lives trying to avoid failure at all costs. Whether we're afraid of looking bad, letting others down, or feeling incompetent, failure seems like the ultimate setback. But what I've come to realize is that failure isn't the enemy, it's a part of the process, an essential chapter in the story of personal growth. In fact, the people we admire most, from athletes to entrepreneurs, all have one thing in common: they've failed, and failed often. But they've learned how to rise each time, stronger and more resilient. I can personally attest to this truth. Over the years, I've had my fair share of failures, whether it was a project that didn't go as planned, a missed opportunity, or a mistake in my personal life. None of it felt good at the time. I remember one specific instance when I launched a new project with high hopes, only to see it flop miserably. I had invested so much time, energy, and resources into it, and when it fell apart, I couldn't help but feel like a failure. For a while, I wallowed in disappointment, questioning my abilities and wondering if I had wasted my time. But eventually, I shifted my perspective. Instead of seeing the failure as a loss, I began to see it as a lesson. I realized that the time spent on the project wasn't wasted, it was an investment in my growth. I learned invaluable lessons about pivoting, communicating more effectively, and managing expectations. Perhaps the most important lesson I learned was the power of persistence. I understood that success is rarely a straight line, it's more like a winding path filled with detours. Take, for example, Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. In fact, Edison himself said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His perseverance in the face of repeated failure is a testament to the idea that failure is not something to fear, it's something to embrace as part of the journey. Each failure brought Edison closer to success by showing him what didn't work, thus narrowing down the path to what would. Similarly, look at someone like Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. His success came not from a flawless record, but from a relentless commitment to improving, even after many setbacks. He famously said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed." Yet, he didn't let these failures define him. Instead, they fueled his drive to keep working, keep practicing, and keep playing. His failures didn't diminish his greatness, they highlighted the determination and perseverance that would ultimately lead him to greatness. The truth is, failure is a necessary part of success. It's a stepping stone, not a roadblock. The key is not to fear it, but to learn from it. Every mistake, every misstep, is an opportunity to grow, to adjust, and to try again with more wisdom and clarity. By embracing failure as a natural part of the journey, we free ourselves to take risks, to explore new possibilities, and to move forward with confidence, knowing that each misstep brings us closer to our true path. Principle 5. Keep it simple. In our modern world, it's easy to fall into the trap of overcomplicating our lives. We're constantly bombarded with messages that we need more things, more achievements, more recognition. But Buddha's wisdom teaches us that true clarity and peace are found in simplicity. By stripping away the clutter both mentally and physically, we make space for what truly matters. I've personally experienced the power of simplicity, and it's been a transformative journey. Not long ago, I realized just how much stuff I had accumulated in my life. It wasn't just physical items, but also mental clutter, endless to-do lists, worries about the future, and distractions that pulled me in a million different directions. I was so focused on achieving more, acquiring more, and constantly seeking the next thing that I believed would bring me happiness. But in the process, I lost sight of what truly mattered. It was only when I started simplifying my life that I began to experience a sense of peace. I began with my physical space, clearing out items I didn't need, clothes I never wore, books I'd already read, gadgets I never used. It felt liberating to let go of things that were taking up physical and mental space. But the real change came when I started simplifying my mindset. I stopped chasing the more that society often tells us we need. I stopped measuring my happiness by how much I could acquire or accomplish and started appreciating what I already had. A great example of this is Marie Kondo, the tidying expert who became famous for her KonMari method of decluttering. Her approach is simple: hold each item in your home and ask yourself, does this spark joy? If it doesn't, thank it for its service and let it go. It's not just about cleaning up your physical space, but about creating a home environment that aligns with your values and brings you peace. Kondo's method isn't just about getting rid of things, it's about intentionally choosing to keep only what truly adds value to your life. Once I started applying this concept to my own life, I noticed a shift in how I felt. I began to wake up each day with a sense of clarity and grounding. My mind was less cluttered with distractions, and I felt more focused on what was important: my relationships, my health, and my personal growth. I realized that the pursuit of more was a never-ending cycle, and that peace didn't lie in having more, it lay in appreciating enough. This principle of simplicity also applies to our mental and emotional state. We often overcomplicate our emotions, overthinking every situation, stressing about things that may never happen. But when we simplify our thinking and focus on the present moment, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Like Buddha said, clarity and peace are found in simplicity. When we let go of mental clutter, we create space for inner calm and deep contentment. The beauty of simplicity is that it doesn't require grand gestures or drastic changes, it's about making small adjustments that align with your values. It's about waking up each day and choosing to focus on what truly matters, whether that's spending quality time with loved ones, pursuing passions that bring joy, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the present. By simplifying our lives, we open ourselves to greater peace, deeper connections, and a more meaningful existence. Principle 6. Practice humility. Humility is a fundamental virtue that allows us to connect with others on a deeper level and fosters true growth. Buddha taught that wisdom is not about speaking at length or flaunting knowledge, but about embodying qualities like peace, love, and fearlessness in our actions. True humility comes when we live our values, not when we boast about them. By practicing humility, we dissolve the barriers of arrogance and open ourselves up to a deeper understanding of others. There's a story I once heard about a wise monk who, despite his profound knowledge and spiritual accomplishments, never sought recognition or acted superior. He didn't boast about his teachings or try to impress others with his wisdom. Instead, he served others quietly, radiating peace and compassion. Those around him were drawn to his humility, and many found inspiration in his example. This monk's life taught others that wisdom isn't just about what we say or how much we know, it's about how we treat others and how we live our values. I've tried to adopt a similar mindset. For a long time, I believed that being knowledgeable and confident in what I knew would earn me respect. But over time, I realized that the deepest connections I formed were with people who were not seeking to impress others or be admired. It was those who listened, served, and gave freely without expecting anything in return who left the most lasting impressions. I learned that sometimes, the best way to show strength is by quietly standing in your own truth, without needing to shout about it. For example, look at someone like Mahatma Gandhi. Despite his pivotal role in India's fight for independence, he never sought wealth, fame, or personal glory. His humility was one of his greatest assets. He lived modestly, embraced simplicity, and focused on the welfare of others. His actions spoke louder than any words he could have uttered, and it was through his humility that he inspired millions to take a stand for justice. Humility is about listening more than speaking, serving others without expecting recognition, and living your life in a way that aligns with your deepest values. It teaches us that we can learn just as much from others as they can from us. When we practice humility, we create space for empathy, compassion, and understanding to thrive both in ourselves and in the people we interact with. By letting go of our need to be seen or heard, we allow our actions to speak louder than words. Principle 7. Beware of the dangers of fortune. Finally, let's talk about material wealth. In today's world, the pursuit of success and material possessions is often seen as the ultimate goal. But Buddha reminds us that health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, and faithfulness the best relationship. In our quest for more, we often forget that true fulfillment does not come from external possessions, but from within. I've known people who have everything that society says should make them happy: a big house, a fancy car, a high-paying job, but still feel empty inside. They chase the next achievement, the next material possession, thinking it will bring them happiness, but it never does. I used to believe that accumulating more stuff would somehow fill the gaps in my life. I thought that if I had the right job or the right possessions, I'd finally be happy. But over time, I've learned that real joy comes from appreciating what we already have: good health, meaningful relationships, and the ability to be present in the moment. Take Warren Buffett, for instance. Despite being one of the richest men in the world, he lives a remarkably humble life. He still resides in the same house he bought decades ago and drives an ordinary car. He often speaks about how his wealth has never been the source of his happiness. Instead, he finds joy in simple pleasures: his family, his work, and the freedom to give back. His example serves as a reminder that material wealth alone does not equate to happiness. For me, the shift in perspective came when I started focusing less on what I lacked and more on what I already had. I began to appreciate the small, everyday moments like sharing a meal with loved ones or taking a walk in nature. This shift didn't mean I stopped working hard or striving for success, but it allowed me to enjoy the journey, rather than fixating on the end goal. I realized that true fulfillment comes not from what we accumulate, but from how we live, the relationships we nurture, and the peace we find within ourselves. Material wealth can be fleeting, and the chase for more can often leave us feeling more distant from our true selves. But when we recognize that contentment is an inner state, not something to be found outside of ourselves, we can begin to appreciate the simple, often overlooked treasures that bring us true happiness, good health, love, and the present moment. As we come to the end of today's journey, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on these timeless Buddhist principles and how they can help you cultivate inner peace in your life. Life isn't about avoiding challenges, it's about how we choose to face them. When we listen more than we speak, trust our intuition, accept life's unpredictability, embrace failure as a stepping stone, simplify our lives, practice humility, and cherish what truly matters, we unlock the wisdom to navigate life's complexities with grace and peace. Remember, every step you take towards inner peace is a step towards a life of greater purpose, clarity, and fulfillment. These teachings aren't just words, they are tools that can transform the way you approach every moment, every challenge, and every relationship. If you found value in today's video, I invite you to continue this journey with me. I'll be sharing more insights and practical tips on how to live a life filled with wisdom, compassion, and tranquility. Don't miss out on what's coming next. Thank you for being part of this journey today. I hope these teachings have brought you closer to the peace and wisdom you seek. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with anyone who could use a little more calm and clarity in their life. Until next time, may your heart be peaceful, your mind clear, and your journey full of wisdom.